And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing you this lovely little video at 5:25 a.m. It's bright, it's early, it's Thursday. I don't have a name for Thursday, but typically Thursday is a down day for Bitcoin. And, we'll see if that holds true today. I wanted to start us off with a bit of a different chart here. What I have in the background is the S&P 500 futures compared with the CNY USD chart. That is the Chinese yuan, and you can see it's been a bit of a harbinger of death and despair, as we say. As the CNY starts to go down, you can see stocks, the S&P 500 at the very least has gone down. Credit to the guy on Real Vision for pointing this one out. I wanted to give another point for the bears out there. You can see stock market is beginning to rally. Well, CNY falls off a cliff and S&P follows shortly after. Bit of a rally and CNY starts to fall off a cliff. And what do you have right now? A bit of a rally. CNY is falling off a cliff. And also giving, the dollar a bit of a bounce here. Moving on to our next chart and reminding you all, actually in about 5 minutes, we're going to get the jobless claims and home sales Thursday. That's what we should call it. Jobless claims and home sales, which the dollar has been breaking out to our upside target, heading up to this green box of peace and prosperity or death and despair. And when it comes to the dollar, essentially above this box, it's death and despair, heading up to about 105. And below this box, well, the dollar can come back down, and you'll have a bit of bearish divergence there on the daily time frame, as long as we are pretty much below this high in price action. Now, when the dollar goes down, typically risk assets go up, and vice versa. Dollar go up, typically risk assets go down. Didn't necessarily hold true yesterday, as Biden pretty much said, we have a deal on the debt ceiling, and he jumped on a plane to head over to the G7 with the wind at his back, thinking all is well. Momentum will cross down below 102.31, and just checking in on the hourly here. Momentum is still up to the upside, and we'll confirm a little local top here, closing anywhere below 103, call it 103. And I would expect Dixie to come back down and maybe actually officially retest this trend line. Almost got a retest yesterday and didn't quite follow. Close enough is close enough. And what happened with Bitcoin? Well, following back up on CME's price action, we did get a bit of a fill, as I think we were right about here yesterday saying, hey, likely this gap gets filled. And what matters is if we fill the gap and reject back up, that would be bullish. If we shot right through it, well, that would be bearish. And now we're going to have a chance to test the gap again, as the 4-hour time frame does have a bit of bearish divergence, which was confirmed going back from this pivot right here. And, basically, if we start closing 4 hours back below 27,175 on CMEs, very likely going to revisit the bottom side of the range there. However, a bit of a bullish engulfing candle there. That would imply some continuation to the upside. So that CME price action, let's see if we also have it on a 12-hour time frame. Yes, we do, in fact. But how do we confirm this as a local high? You need a 12-hour back below 27,195. Same pivot there. So 4 hours probably good enough to front run that signal. And I do suspect that the economic data coming out here, which is coming out right now, you can see the time ticker is flashing, and we'll see if jobless claims. Oh no. lower than expected, bullish for the dollar. What does that mean? That means, well, could get some pressure to the downside on Bitcoin and risk assets. And guys, just getting back into really quick, NASDAQ making new all-time highs yesterday for the year, heading into our box of peace and prosperity and death and despair. You can see we are coming up, cresting this 1618 fib. Does look like we're going to get a rejection there. And then the question is, do we close back below here? Or more specifically, back below this level? Probably going to come down pretty hard. And this would be a bit of a fake out. And just, putting the currencies back on the chart here. Got my nice little currency section right here. You got the euro, the British pound, the Japanese yen, and the CNY all coming down. And look at that breakdown on Mr. CNY. Let's check in JPY, also breaking the range to the downside, and GPY also putting in a nice little top there and some massive divergence coming back all the way from this pivot over here. 1, 2, 3 gets you a shot to the bottom side of the range for British pounds. And CNY, I mean, where's the breakdown target? Well, let's see if we are quite there yet. Not yet. Not quite yet there. 1618 fib. Looks like it's in the cards. And that bearish divergence is playing out. And on the other side, well, if we can confirm any kind of a higher low, that should provide impetus for a bit of a bounce on CNY. But that thing's getting shafted pretty hard to the downside at the moment. CNY USD, okay. And let's check back in on Bitcoin's price action. And bringing us back to, looks like we almost got a retest. I mean, bullish engulfing candle. We should have got a little bit more, maybe a shot up to that 21. But as long as we're below this box, it is pressure onto the downside based on the higher term time frames. We've been focusing on the 3-day volatility expansion. We're not quite there yet. Above 25% is where I'm ready to call it. And what does that mean? That means you won't get the full move, right? But you will catch the momentum there. And, this can lead to about a 30% move in either direction. Remember, volatility is direction neutral. So all we know is when we get expansion, we're looking at a pretty big move. You can also see the 5-day is now pinned on the floor. And the 2-day, which has been flopping around. I mean, if this has really been patience for me, guys. I mean, I've had to be so patient. That's the problem with some of the higher term time frame price action is it takes quite a bit of time to play out. And pressure will remain down as long as we are below, 26,944. Today it will cross back up. And that would be your first impetus warning. If you see volatility expansion on the 2-day and momentum flip back to the upside, as the daily is crossed up now, volatility is declining though. So showing us that we're probably going to get a bit of a weaker bounce. Where did the weak bounce come in? And this is a volatile market, guys. Volatile market. Low liquidity provides the opportunity for big price swings to the upside and the downside. And it's been quite volatile on the lower term time frames. Definitely hard trading there. But overall, a weak bounce comes up to the 382 of the 0.5. That's where the weak bounces come in. But we did clear the 382. So next target is the 0.5. And what is Dixie ripping to the upside as that economic data come out, and target is being hit. So off to the races for Mr. Dixie, as again that economic data is providing the impetus for some more upside. And as was suspected, inflation is hotter than they're telling us. The job market is hot, and jobless claims going down again, taking another big leg down from the initial estimate from the prior month, showing the Fed what they're doing is not working. And I'm willing to bet if we look at the Fed watch tool here, where's my CME, a rate hike, the chances of another rate hike are probably increasing. We haven't been checking in on this. So this is just coming down. I mean, they're saying very likely he's not going to increase. What else happened yesterday in regards to traditional markets? You had the regional bank sector put in the biggest rally of the year, symbol BKX, and a bit of a falling pizza here with the target, well, up to 83 cents there, 83 bucks. That would be the falling pizza target. However, stocks look green at the moment. However, the market has not opened yet today. The futures market probably pulling back now. Not quite yet. S&P, not yet. Dow Jones, not yet. But when the dollar does something like that, unless we get a clean rejection off of that fib, probably, and we're back to the bullish control zone on the first pass. You usually do sell off. So how does the 4-hour look? 4-hour volatility is about to decline. So, maybe pump and then dump, and then Bitcoin rallies. So just, keep an eye on these things. Other things to keep an eye on, underlying market dynamics. We take a look at open interest. That's all the leverage positions on the board, slightly ticking up from yesterday at 8.3 billion. Funding rates inconsequential, and the leverage ratio did take a leg down, as I imagine some people got wiped out yesterday. 51, we're at a neutral level, neither fearful nor greedy, but as you can see on the pretty much all-time, the 1-year chart, we have now entered a downtrend on the Fear and Greed Index. I don't know how much TA works on a chart like that, but lower lows and lower highs. And again, bringing us back to Bitcoin and don't fight the daily downtrend. Well, we're starting to resume that trend. And, can you call this a low or a high? Maybe a complex low, but not quite good enough for me to call it yet. And I do believe that pretty much this 4-hour is likely going to get it. More specifically a 12-hour, if we can confirm this as a local high, you're going to get a shot back down to the bottom side of the range. And then this 26.3 is kind of the last Mohican, the last stand right there. And then we may, maybe patience will reward us here and we do get the downside leg. Now, where am I ready to call it bullish again? Well, back above here, specifically 28,270. Going to start getting bullish again. When you have these pennants and you break down and then you get back into the pennant, typically a sign that, it was a bit of a fake out and the reversal conditions are initiated. If you really want to be patient for the breakout, you wait for 29.5 or 29,000. That will flip my bias around and that initiates a target back up to 32.5. Do I think we stop there? Probably not. Probably heading up to 34, 35,000 if that does happen. 12-hour volatility is now very low, and we'll cross down below 26,758. So it's got a lot of work to do. Specifically back down below this pivot would send momentum back to the downside. The 10-hour is crossed up, looking bullish, but dollar ain't helping us out. And the 8-hour is snaking around. 4-hour is way up, and we'll cross down below 27,100. 3-hour is just about to cross down, and the 2-hour is down. We'll cross up here above 27,391. Sorry, that's the hourly. And then check out the 15-minute really quick here. As volatility is extremely low and just beginning to expand as momentum is to the downside, giving us a Shot back down to the bottom side of the range. I'd be looking at 27,188 and see if we can bounce it from there. Checking in on some of the narratives out there. What is it? January, Apple's next big conference, tech event. They're supposed to announce some kind of a metaverse thing. Metaverse thing coming up, and Render, since they are partnered with Apple, has been absolutely ripping to the upside. But that next thing is June 5th. Oh, the day after the debt ceiling debate. What's been running here? Well, the narrative's been Metaverse coins, party to the upside, and we did have a pretty big day for most of the Metaverse coins yesterday. However, we are just testing the breakdown levels here. And this one could go for more, perhaps up to the green 55 or up to this breakdown level right here. But take it one step at a time. Closure above there, kind of gets you the next target up here at 56 cents. Sandbox also retesting and actually breaking that level. So perhaps a run up to the 618 if Bitcoin can turn itself around. And Mr. Sandbox, these are all the top Metaverse coins, and targeting that next move perhaps up to test the bottom side of this breakdown level. It looks like the same chart over and over and over. Ethereum at 18.9 holding on by a sliver. And we just don't want to see a break back below 1750. That will ruin the inverse head and shoulders and really, I think, probably going to head down and test this trend line if something like that does happen. Bitcoin, once again. Do I want to bring anything up on the weekly time frame? Well, we kind of lost that 9 exponential, giving us the impetus down for a next move down to this targeted region at 25.5 on the weekly chart. Momentum is to the downside, and we are getting kicked out of the critical zone. Essentially, we don't want to come back below this low on this next weekly closure. We got a few more days left, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll bring us back to that 4-day divergence. Again, these 4-day signals do take some time to play out, and there is an opportunity to flip momentum back to the upside above 30,000 bucks. 4-day volatility also expanding off the low. So very likely we're going to get a 30, maybe even 40% move off this next volatility expansion, especially off the 5-day. If the 5-day volatility expands to the upside by crossing, well, it will cross up in the next 2 days and 12 hours above 29,300. So that is actually, that is our hope for the day. And you would not have any bullish divergence. But needless to say, I'm going to leave you off with that. Watch for volatility expansion. Watch for the dollar. If the dollar breaks through this box, well, it's not going to be pretty, I don't think. And the VIX also coming down. Volatility going down. Well, that's on the weekly. On the daily time frame, also filling the gap there. So do we fill the gap and bounce here is the question. Gap has been filled, as you can see right here. So that's that. I think I covered everything today, guys. Gold. Oh, yeah, gold. We talked about this one. We've been talking about 1970 first target on gold. Target is hit, initiating more downside. As the dollar comes up, you'd expect that gold to come down. I do think gold ultimately does take a leg into this zone at 1930. We called that one out a long time ago off the daily, divergence way up here. Good call, Chris. Pat myself on the back for that one. And silver, we did kind of redraw the line and say, hey, likely going to take a leg into this green box at 23.44, maybe in 22 bucks if gold really starts to come down. And just silver bulls better hold this area. Otherwise, it's not going to be pretty for Mr. Silver. All right, that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a blessed and highly favored day. Come back tomorrow. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend. throw a thumbs up on there for me if you did enjoy some of the content. That way I know. And then post a comment below if you want to see some other specific chart. All right, signing out. Take care.